Hello, everyone. This is Portia Green. I am your host for Free Conversations Live, where we have open conversations about real life. Thank you all for joining us tonight. As you hear the conversations that happen tonight, feel free to comment, like, share, and engage. So tonight we have two special guests. I've known them for both for quite some time, and you don't want to miss out on the discussions that we have here tonight. But first, I want to say, if you have not already, go to YouTube, subscribe to my page, join the free group in Facebook, and enjoy the show tonight. Be sure to share. You don't really want to miss this tonight. So we have a new series. It is Women's History Month. So happy Women's History Month, and we're talking about mind, body, spirit, and success. So you hear us talk about these things all the time, and sometimes you don't hear them been talked about enough. So tonight we're going to talk about this because I just truly believe that the mind, the body, the spirit that we operate in day to day is so vital for just living a healthy life, but it's also vital for living a healthy, successful life. So we're going to get engaged with two licensed therapists tonight. They are licensed, they deal with people on a regular basis who are trying to maintain their mind. They have a working on the maintenance of their mind. So this discussion tonight will be solely focused more on the mind um, and success. So you might hear some stuff about the body and spirit too, but tonight we're going to discuss mind. So how do you take care of your mind? That's the question for tonight. Put it in the comments below. And again, don't be fearful of engaging, y'all. Put your questions, your comments below, and we'll do our best to answer those questions and comments. So I'm going to do some introductions here. We have two great speakers tonight. I'm going to pull them up right now to the stream. And I'm going to do a little introduction of them. We have Brittany Muhammad tonight. She grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She attended North Carolina Central University, where she received her bachelor's and master's degree in social work. She has worked as a licensed clinical therapist for 11 years. She has practiced therapy in Durham, Raleigh, as well as the Tri-Area, including Winston-Salem and Greensboro, North Carolina. Brittany is a mom of four and enjoys family time. She has always had a love and passion for people. After discovering her love and passion for fitness, she received her personal training certification from the International Sports Sciences Association in 2021. She strives to empower people to feel good and healthy from the inside out and has a passion for motivating others to become the best version of themselves. Welcome, Brittany. And we are so
Thank
thankful to
you.
have you.
Thank you. Thank
Next, we have Marisha here that we're introducing. And Marisha is an author. She is an artist and creative and a professional, of course. So here is Marisha's background. Marisha is a perfect purpose-driven creative, skillful with words. She uses the art forms, writing and performance as a canal to provoke thought and change. She became a spoken word artist while attending college and began sharing poetry publicly in 2010. Her first book of poetry and devotionals, Beauty for Ashes, was published in 2016. Um, an alumnus of North Carolina Central University, her educational background, field experiences, observation, life experiences, and walk with God have been the backdrop of Writing topics typically surround Christian living, hope, social issues, courage, transparency, honesty, and spiritual, as well as personal growth. Marisha understands the importance of uplifting others, balance, commitment to God, and the transformation of that is solely from Him. Her desire to help others is empowered through God's redemption in her life. Marisha is a spoken word artist, author, blogger, skillful with. Oh, I think I've said that before. um, Typically, Christ-based, Marisha shamelessly addresses societal topics and aspires to radiate transparency, hope, growth, and the love of God. Marisha has also authored another book, Big Mama Was Wrong. If I said that right, I'm sorry if I didn't. And Close to Home is a mini series of allegories, I'm sorry, that share prompt readers to consider life as they know it, as well as others' lives. Professionally, Marisha is a licensed clinical or social worker always. I'm not always. Y'all forgive me. I'm dealing with a headache tonight and I'm tongue tied in words for real. So, Marisha is a licensed clinical social worker also. Um, and she graduated from North Carolina Central University as well. Her personal experiences, educational background, field experiences, and observation inspire the backdrop for motivation. Um, so from there, I want to just say thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. I'm so excited to have you and for you to share your experiences with the world. So we're gonna do something a little different here tonight. I kind of a little bit, prepared y'all for it, but I think I got a little twist to add to it. So, being that it is Women's History Month, and yesterday was International Women's Day, I want you to share some things that have to dealing with history, of course. So, who is a woman in history that has inspired your success? Who wants to go first?
You want to go first, Brittany?
Yeah, sure. So as I think about this question, I try to think about the person that I connect with the most. So there's, of course, lots and lots of great women. Of course, Michelle Obama, she's a pioneer. I thought about Sarah Jakes Roberts as you asked that question. She's a very motivational speaker, connects, really well with women. Um, One of the ladies that I connect with, who's inspired me, in all honesty, has been Issa Rae. And I know that you prepared us for this a little bit, and I feel like she's just very relatable. I feel like she really just encourages, promotes authenticity. I think she promotes, I don't know, just being raw and being yourself. And what I like about her, she kind of reminds me of myself. That's probably why I thought about her. Of course, those who don't know who Issa Rae is, she's a producer, film producer, artist, director. Like she directs lots and lots of great TV shows, films, things like that. And in her shows, she shows a lot of like inner monologue or like a lot of self-talk and like just
Mhm.
hyping herself up. And I don't know, I feel like I connected with her a long time ago when I started watching her shows, for that reason. She really inspires people to just be them and fully embrace, who they are, fully embrace everything, no matter
Yes.
what. So
I
that's
love Issa. Like I literally fell in love with Issa when she came on the scene because like when she first came out, especially with Insecure, but I had to go back and do some research, and then I started looking at her show that she had on YouTube, and I was just like, this girl is really, really good. Like the inner monologues are the funniest to me because it's real stuff.
right.
Like you be having conversations like with yourself. Or
Mhm.
like just inner dialogue that you have, it just it just comes out. But she's looking at her mirror in her mirror doing it, and
Yeah.
so I love Issa. But you named some really really good ones. So yes, thank you for sharing that. So,
Yeah.
Marisha, what would you say is a woman in history that has inspired you to your success?
So my shero or sheroes are more so local. Like my mom, my sister, my mentor. Those are the people that I feel like really have inspired my success because those are the people that keep me grounded and know me for the person that I am. They see my potential, they see my flaws. Those are the people that I would say inspire me the most. I also have a cousin who is a social worker, has been a social worker for many, many moons. She inspires me too.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, and you hit on something really good that I like. You said that those are the people that know me, because we engage with the world, we have conversations with people,
Yeah.
and we are like living day to day, but people don't really know us. Like, there's those intimate relationships that we have where people have to like get to know us.
Mhm.
And like, if you don't really know me as a person, like, I do this stuff on social media, but if anybody know me, know that I'm silly. I am raw. Like, I just tell it like it is. Like, and I be serious though. Like, people be laughing at me, but I'm really serious. But it's important. But people know, like, if you know me, you know when I'm not really doing well. I might say I'm okay, but I'm not okay. But I'm just walking through the moment.
Mhm.
And what you said is like, the sheroes, the people who really are, in your life, are those who know you, and that's big. That's really, really huge. So I really like that a lot too. So the next question is, what song empowers you to get things done?
I want to hear Marisha's answer on this one. I'm gonna put it on you because it really, for me, depends on the day. But let me
No,
just.
and I agree with that because there are some songs that like it's the beat. It's not the lyrics. It's
Yes.
just the beat. Like I'm gonna walk this mile. I'm gonna get my earrings ran. But the first song that came to mind was "Wild Dreams" by Burna Boy and
Mm.
Khalid.
Hmm, hmm.
Okay. 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 What about you?
For me, like I said, it depends on the day. Depends on what's going on because I'm sure we all love music. I think everybody loves music. Like who doesn't love music? Um, if I am if I'm trying to like I don't know, like get myself like just going, kind of like you said. There is a song I love, Janae Aiko. She's like, I don't know, I just really like her. I like her music. And there's a song that she has called Stay Ready. I don't know if y'all ever heard that song.
Mhm.
But it's like you gotta stay ready. Right. I can't sing, but I like
Mhm.
singing. Anyway. So it just makes me feel like it just pumps me up. Like you gotta be ready for whatever. Like you have to be proactive instead of reactive. You just gotta be ready for all types of things. So
I
yeah.
like both of those. I like it. I
Mhm.
like, and it's funny, like, because you said, everybody, like, you don't know who don't like music, but music is a driving force. Like, I love a lot of different music, and I probably couldn't pick just one song either. And not gonna wreck my brain right now because I got a headache to try to figure out what song perfectly fits into that category.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even come prepared for my own interview question, honestly. Maybe because I was just thinking it was for you. But um, so yeah, there's a lot of different songs. It just really depends on the day, like what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling. Because a gospel song could get me in the mood for the day, or it can be a rap song. It could be an old school R&B song, like, so it can be a country song, and I'll just play it over and over and over again. Like, do y'all have songs that y'all play over and over again?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I
Definitely.
literally can play one song for probably hours. And so it's just finding that pace that gets you in the mindset of getting things done and get going. So I got a little curveball for y'all. So what song, no, I'm not gonna say song. What form of art comes to mind when you think of mind, the word mind?
For me, I don't think it's a particular art form that comes to mind. And it could be because I'm thinking about it with the therapist hat, but all art comes to mind because it's like the form of expression, self care, mental health. So all forms of art come to mind. There's not like one particular form.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree with her, honestly.
Okay.
Can't really think of anything right now.
So if you could pick one movie, I'll say, that had a great depiction of mental health in general, what would you say that movie would be?
Hmm. I I will tell you what I'm thinking right now. I
Okay.
can't really think of a movie because there's so many movies that
Yes.
we watched. I mean, I don't want to say anything and be like, why did I say that? Um, but here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
Um, and I feel like this is me just defaulting. And there's tons of movies I've watched, y'all. Like I know, but I really, really like. I know y'all can be like everybody likes the movie. Pursuit of Happiness. I really like that movie. It really stands out. I'm sure there's a ton more, right? But I just can't think of any right now other than Pursuit of Happiness. The reason why that stands out is because one of my favorite quotes. I don't know if Will Smith came up with this quote. I think he did, but it talks about how we take things brick by brick. It says the quote is like, "We don't wake up each day and say we're going to build an entire wall. We
Mhm.
take one brick at a time and build one brick by brick by brick, once a day, and then sooner or later we'll have an entire brick wall." And that takes it takes a mindset, a healthy balanced mindset to think that way. So that kind of all like resonates, that like kind of stands out. But Pursuit of Happiness, he just went through a lot of mental battles. Like he could have like gave up, and he just had to have that mental resiliency, I guess is what I'll call it, in order to pursue what he was trying to do.
That's a good one. That's one of my favorite movies too. You got one, Marisha?
I do, and maybe it's because I've watched this like 4 or 5 times. But The Woman King,
Oh yes.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yes, that movie was
I like,
good.
especially with Netflix. I've seen that multiple.
That's
Like,
good.
The Woman King is
Um,
what comes to mind between like the grief, PTSD. That's what
Mhm.
comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a good one.
that was a
That
good
was a
one.
really, really good.
It was a good movie.
Yes, that was good. That's a movie definitely that I can watch again. I was like, oh, I gotta watch that one again
Hmm.
because it felt like it encompassed so much in it. And the
Hmm.
Pursuit of Happiness, I probably watched a million times. Like
Hmm.
I think somebody bought me. I think one of my supervisors bought me the DVD one year for Christmas. Like I watched it a million times. Like, and I love it. Like, and it's probably gonna be one of my decompression movies this weekend with Woman King because it was a really good. I watched it in the theaters, but it's gonna be different looking at it at home. So I definitely gonna look at that. But thank y'all for participating in this. This is good.
Yeah,
This is really good.
that
So we're
movie
gonna
was.
go, huh?
I was gonna say that movie was powerful. That's all. Like I just wanted to
Hmm.
add my tidbit. Yeah.
It really was. It was so much emotion in that movie. Like good emotion and like reflective emotion. There was a lot in that movie that was so good. So so good. Okay, ladies. So let's get into some more questions. So um how have you seen in the mind of women improve or decline per history? And what do you think that this is the cause of? So, like, how have you seen the mind of women improve or decline per history? And we're talking about a span over history, like, way generations prior to us up until now. Um, Decline or improve, and what do you think the cause is?
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'll go. I- So I feel like it's been. Um, I feel like it's kind of been. These are just my thoughts, of course. Like kind of up and down, or really down, up and down. Oh no, wait, up, down, up. That's what I meant to say. Because of course, if we take it way back to history, we know that women, we had to be extremely strong to get through some of the things, the challenges, oppression, childbirth, all these things that we went through as women. And then I feel like probably over a period of time, women probably, I would say, felt I don't know, like devalued, felt beneath. I would imagine that we've all experienced that, like just feeling inferior. I know we've struggled with that in the workplace, at home life, overlooked, underlooked, all these things. And now I feel like, just from what I'm seeing, what I'm observing, women are running it, like women are producers, women we're really making history, from the big screen to like television to celebrities to our local, people, to the people around us. Women are like entrepreneurs, like we're, I don't know, trendsetters. We own businesses. We're going to get it, for the most part. So that's kind of how I see the trend.
Okay.
I actually echo.
I'm sorry. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what just happened here. Okay. You said you echo.
Yeah, I do. I echo Brittany. I feel like it has been times that it's been better than others. So you have, before women had rights, then you had times that their, their mindset was a lot different. And then once they began to feel empowered, whether it was going into the workforce, whether it was self care, whatever, whatever the situation is, that's whenever you see the improvements. So I think in general, I think it depends on society and how society presents or creates structure that is influence the declines and the improvements.
So you bring up a great point. You say that that it's been the way that society influences, because we are like dominating in a sense. We're dominating society at this point, and I think that we've always had a position of power in society, but we weren't able to tap into that because of the limitations of society.
Mhm.
And because we started, taking our position over time. And when it came to women's suffrage, start there, and women's rights, and all those things that happen in, over time. And it's almost like if you give women a little inch to go, like we literally go past beyond that inch, and we dominate, as you said. Is that we are continuing to grow and take over um the world, in a sense to where wherever we stand, we're dominating. We're trendsetters. We're making strides in history and surpassing men. We may not be able to be treated as well as men, but we are doing astronomically better in the world as men in a lot of cases. We're setting the tone, and it's almost it's weird in a sense, because I feel like that men are kind of like being pushed in the background to deal with themselves and figure out how to regain their position and their power in the world. Because so many, to me, it seems like women, you see women, successful women everywhere now. Like in the mainstream, you're seeing more women in the spotlight than you are seeing men these days. Um, Granted, there's a lot of men that are in the spotlight, but I feel like that women are dominating in their lanes, um, and where they choose to shine at. Y'all have any feedback about that question? Okay.
No, I agree though. I agree with both you guys.
So, from a clinician's perspective, what makes mental health so important?
You want me to go, Brittany?
I'm
I'm looking at you for
asking y'all, like,
We're gonna go back and forth. Like you go first, and I go first. Then you go.
um, I feel we're tripart beings, so body, soul, and spirit. And what makes mental health so important is mental health is a part of the soul, body, soul, and spirit. So it's just like anything else. If there's imbalance in one area, it's going to affect other areas or impact other areas. And so mental health is just as significant as other components, meaning the spirit and the physical, because if there's a lack, there is, whether it's depression, anxiety, psychosis, that's going to impact your other the other parts of you. It's going to impact you spiritually. It's going to impact you physically, or vice versa. Like if a person is stressed, it impacts their immune system. So if your immune system has been attacked, then that opens the door for other things. Or your sleep hygiene. That impacts how you work. That's a part of your life. That's a part of a domain that's significant to you. So it's, to me, it's significant because of just the fact of what it's connected to. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Brittany.
Yeah, ditto, of course, everything you said. I just feel like mental health is like, um, it's the driving force, drives everything. If our mental health is not well, or if we don't have, you know, if we're not balanced, like mentally, then it does affect everything. It affects our body, our spirit, like, like Marisha was saying. Um, it's very important. It's the driving force. I mean, that's just how I see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what do you consider to be a healthy mind, Brittany?
a healthy mind. Okay, a healthy mind. What's a healthy mind? I'm messing. I'm a little extra, y'all. A healthy mind is a mind that knows, acknowledges, embraces like imperfections and flaws. But a healthy mind is able to reject, combat, um, those things that are not helpful to us. So it's essentially, us knowing that we're going to have setbacks, we're going to have, like negative self-talk. Is knowing and embracing, well, is knowing and accepting those things, but speaking against it and not necessarily letting it like take over, like I said, rejecting thoughts that we have, because a lot of times we have thoughts that we really can't control, and that's okay. What we want to do is, we want to manage the thoughts. We want to reject the thoughts. We want to work through our thoughts. So that's what I think of when I think of a healthy mind. It's just having that balance of knowing, like, I'm going to have some difficulties, some hangups, some setbacks, some things that come to my mind that I don't like, but it's being able to, like I said, push through, and work through those things to overcome any obstacle that's keeping you in the way of doing what you need to do and want to do.
Okay. Good. How about you, Marisha?
I agree with Brittany. I think when I think of a healthy mind, I think of a mind that's free of clutter. So one that can process and think, one that's free of brain fog. That's what I think about whenever I think of, or just even having, I would say, an average ability to remember. Those are the things that come to mind for me, in addition to what Brittany said about what a healthy mind is.
Okay. All righty. So, um, having a healthy mind. So, how does uh okay? First, I want to ask, what do you define as success, Marisha? So, how do you define success in itself? Because everybody's definition is different for success.
Yeah.
Um, my definition of success truly is like being able to accomplish, be stable in where you are currently, like in in that, being successful in the moment is success, because every moment looks different, and we if we focus on what we're experiencing currently is when we can be successful in the future. And so that's my personal definition of success. What would you say your definition of success is?
I would say it's achieving measurable goals or making steps towards a goal. So sometimes just the mere fact that you tried it, to me, that's success.
Hmm. That's good. That's really good. And so also like not so when you say you just trying it, because I have this saying I said is that, if you don't try, you only fail if you don't try.
Hmm.
So like there is no failure really. If you tried, you tried it, so there's no failure. There's only lessons learned. So that's a great point. How about you, Brittany?
My definition of success is making a determination that you want to do something in general or do something different and following through with it, whether it turns out the way you want it to or not.
That's good. That's really good. Following through with it. And I think that is having the mind to just to follow through with it, no matter what it comes with. Like you said, is just because, we're going to have setbacks, we're going to have hiccups, but we're going to learn a lot about ourselves in the process of doing it. And that's, I think, the development that happens within ourselves is true success. No matter what the outcome of our goal is, if we decide, okay, this is not something I thought I wanted to do, you discover that about yourself. And so that's true success in itself. So I like that a lot. All right. So, how does the mind play a role in success? And what was your experience with mind and success, should I say? First one first. I threw a lot at you. Sorry.
Portia, repeat that question again, Portia.
So, how does the mind play a role in success? Brittany.
I almost feel like it kind of goes back to the question that Marisha and I answered earlier, because the mind is the leading driver of like everything. And in our minds, if we've already made the determination that we're not going to do it or that we can't do it, then we're not going to do it. If we make the determination in our minds that we will do it, then we'll see it through. So it really just starts with our mind and our thoughts and our attitudes towards whatever we want to do.
Absolutely. What would never mind. I'm
Or-
too many questions. Sorry, y'all.
I do that sometimes. I'm like, I got a question, but I got part A, part B, part C.
Right. There's a couple parts to that. Go ahead. Marisha, what would you say?
I think the mind plays a role in success because you have to be able to focus, you have to be able to concentrate, you have to be able to combat negative thoughts, you have to be able to remember. So I think the mind plays a very significant role in success in and of itself. And my experience with my success and my mind, meaning the correlation, it has a lot to do with the thoughts that I entertain and the thoughts that I discard. So if it's something that I'm, like you said, going back to like the monologue with Issa Rae, if I'm hyping myself up, then I'm more prone to feel confident, which is going to relate more so to me being successful in at least trying. But if I have a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of fear, a lot of what ifs, or even just like maybe someone would say something that made me doubt it, so even doubt being a factor, then that's it's more than likely going to impair the success. Because I'm in to be honest, in some cases I may be less prone to even try it, depending on me keeping the negative thoughts or me kicking them.
Okay. So, what's your experience of the mind and success, Brittany? The mind and success. Should I say.
Could you kind of like clarify that question for me or like break it down a
So,
little bit further?
so your experience, so mind and success looks like. So, what were your experience with having a healthy mind and accomplishing things? So,
Gotcha.
what has been your experience and your journey with that?
Okay. So I can't help but think, or I can't help but think about like self talk. I feel like lately, this may not even answer your question, but I feel like lately I've been having to give myself a lot of self talk. Funny thing is, I thought about you, Portia, this week because I think you had an alarm or something like a long time ago that was like,
Yeah.
get up, beep, beep, right, bleep, bleep, right? Or so within the past few weeks, I had to I had to tell myself this. And because I'm a therapist, it's my job to validate feelings, of course. It's my job to normalize feelings. It's my job to acknowledge people's feelings and emotions. But within the past couple of weeks, I had to literally say Brittany, and I didn't say the whole word, but I had to say F your feelings. Like I literally had to tell myself that recently because my inner critic was really getting in the way of something. Well, my inner critic and just other unhelpful thoughts, was getting in the way of me following through and pursuing some things that I know God has called me to do. Like, I'm like, I know God wants me to do this. I know I need to be doing this, but I'm always thinking about this person, that person, what this person gonna say, what this person gonna think. What if I'm this, what if I don't do that, yada yada yada, right? So I had to really just be like, man, you're in your feelings today. Like, you're gonna have to get up out of them feelings. You're gonna have to climb out of the feelings. So that's been my success. I mean, that's been like my experience when it comes to like the mind and success. I've had to like really talk myself through things. I've had to like tell myself like, you wanna be obedient, to what God has called you to do. Like, you need to do that. Um, One of the things that Issa Rae talked about is like how you have a story. I mean, that's one of her quotes. Like, she talks about how you have a story and that you need to kind of like get it out and like get things out and share. And I feel like I don't know, God has equipped me with a gift or many gifts, and I
Mhm.
need to I need to like let people, see that I need to give that, to people. So yeah, I would just say it's required a lot of, self talk. It's required a lot of like going to like worst case scenario thinking, which is what I do in therapy anyway. With people, like, we go like, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen. The worst that can happen. The worst that can happen. Worst that can happen. Excuse me. And you realize that for the most part, unless it's like a really serious thing going on in your life, you realize that the worst is not even a threat, or it's not even that bad. It's something that you can bounce back from or recover from. And eventually you'll be okay, if your worst case happens. So that's been my experience. Like I said, just a lot of self-talk, like, girl, you got to get them feelings type of,
Right.
yeah.
So to answer your well, to respond to your comment
Mhm.
earlier, I did, and I still do. I still do have reminders in my phone. And one of
Mhm.
the very first ones I put in my phone was your feelings don't matter. You got to do it anyway. Like, your feelings don't matter right now. Do it
Yeah.
anyway. And that's literally the kind of stuff. And we have to have that self talk situation going on, because if we don't have that internal motivation, everything on the outside is going to determine how we live out this life. Period. Like we have to be motivated inside, and if we are not, like, we are thrown like um in the word of God, it just talks about it's we're tossed to and fro like the waves, and like we're double minded in all our ways. Like, you're
Yeah.
being tossed through and fro. We're gonna be tossed like side to side all the time. Like, and we have to be, whole minded and of a sound mind. Um, and so yeah, but I did have it. I still have different reminders. I don't have that reminder in there anymore, but I got past that one.
Well, that's
In that
good.
season of my life. In that season of my life, I got past that one. So
Yeah.
I was able to add some different ones in there. So now I have these alarms that go off. My husband hates them, but he gets over it. But these alarms that go off my phone to they remind me of things, like, if because sometimes we're in the moment, in the emotion, or in our head, and we don't think about those motivating things that we need to tell ourselves. And so that is a way that I motivate myself and remind myself and have that inner discussion um to get things done, or just to, feel, regulate my emotions, remind myself who I am in God. And I have all kinds of different ones in my phone, but that is important. So yes, I love that you talked about like the worst. What is the worst that could happen? Because sometimes anxiety, a lot of us experience that, and it's because we are thinking of the worst, and
Mhm.
we're allowing that to take over our mind and keeps us stagnant or hesitant or in fear of things that are really not that bad. It could be that bad at all. But I love how you speak on that. Marisha, do you have anything that you want to share?
I feel like y'all covered it. It's more so about what you allow your mind to think on versus what you kick out.
Right.
That's gonna have a lot of impact on whether you take the steps, do it scared, or if you just kind of let opportunities pass you by, or or make other people miss out on opportunities because you didn't do what you should have done.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one because we can us not playing our role can cause other people to miss out on opportunities. Um, that's a really, really good one. Um, yes, thank you for sharing that. And y'all got any other feedback about that at all?
No, that was good though, Marisha. That's right.
Um, so what advice would you give? No, before I go in there. So I want to bring some normalcy to this conversation. So how many times would you just guess? Just throw a wild number out there. How many times do you can guess like you have a negative thought or intrusive thought during the day?
Um,
Because
I would say
I probably have
at
hundreds.
least 10. I can say at least 10. At least. At least.
It really depends on how busy I am.
Hmm.
If I'm busy, like stress starts to take over, and I just start having all kinds of like thoughts, and I'd be like, "Portia, get yourself together. Like, just sit still and breathe."
See, I'm the opposite.
Peace.
I'm the opposite. If I'm working, then I don't really have time for the negativity because I'm working. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's like I've decompressed, not like the mental health kind of decompressed, but I just had a moment, that's
Mm,
whenever it's like, "Ooh, I'm so glad this didn't happen because then this would have happened." It's like the reverse kind of negative thoughts, or what am I going to do if
right.
this happens? But kind of like to say that idle mind is a devil's workshop. But
Absolutely.
I feel like if I'm productive, then it's less prone to happen than if I'm just kind of lollygagging and just not really being present.
Yeah. Mine comes with stress though. Like if I'm stressful in working, like the stress is what produces all the negative thoughts. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. But
Yeah.
how about you, Brittany?
I would say the same. I think it depends on the day. My stress level, my capacity level. Um, Sometimes kind of like what Marisha was saying, when you're just like go, 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 go. Because sometimes I'm doing it just in therapy all day, from therapy, momming, wifing, from wifing, sleep. You know what I mean? So it just depends. Probably a lot. I know that we have we as humans. I forgot the percentage or the number, but it's high in terms of. No, I think it's, and I could be wrong, and I know I'm like on live, so don't quote me, y'all. But like
Disclaimer.
I think it's like 80% or something like that. A negative thought, like 80% of our thoughts are like negative or something like that. I should just Google it real quick. Let me just Google it. If that's okay, because I don't want to be wrong. But I know that we have unhelpful, intrusive thoughts a lot. But I just can't really pinpoint about how many in a day because it really just depends on the day. So let me look that up real quick.
Yeah. I think that it is. I just wanted to bring some normalcy because I feel like that, and on this platform, I try to be as honest and open as possible because I want people to feel like you are having these intrusive thoughts and that doesn't make you a bad person. Like there's other people who have intrusive thoughts or negative thoughts, and but it's what we do with those negative thoughts and what we do after we have them or while we're having them that makes a difference. Because I can have an intrusive thought, but however I condition my mind and what I feed myself is what's important. Because if I'm feeding myself good things, like I'm not on social media 24/7, or if I am on social media, what am I looking at? Am I looking at something that's inspiring, that's empowering for someone who's doing something that I desire to do, or that's pouring good wisdom and knowledge into me? Like, what am I doing? Am I listening to good music? Not everything that has 50 million cuss words in it and talking about killing people all the time, but I'm listening to something that's motivating me, that keeps me going, that gets, like we talked about earlier, a song that empowers me to get things done. Like, it's what I'm feeding myself that gets rid of those thoughts and it helps me move past them. Because sometimes, like, I used to think that what I'm thinking, like, was bad. Like, why am I consuming my thoughts? Like, why am I anxious all the time? Like, and I realized it was what I was feeding myself and allowing myself to be controlled by those thoughts versus me controlling my thoughts. after I had the thought. So, or just normalize, oh, that's not gonna happen. Because to be honest, y'all, I don't know about y'all, I've been in a lot of car accidents. And the last car accident I was in, it really did something to me. And so I would have on the road, I would have like these intrusive thoughts like somebody's gonna hit me, or my car is gonna break down in the middle of the road. I like literally, y'all, to this still day, I still have create these whole scenarios in my head about what's gonna happen to me on the road, but I instantly switch it off. Like it's different now because I've learned to work through it. I know um it's not accurate. It's just something that I have because of like PTSD, because of all the accidents I've been in, and because and I think it's the way that my mind is like um controlling the situation for me to prepare for it if it does happen, but it's not real. So I've learned to switch that, and like it don't keep me from driving. It keeps me going. Like I have the thought, I switch it, I keep driving down the road. I ain't creating no accidents, and I'm not experiencing an accident. But it's normal for us to have like intrusive negative thoughts. And I want for whoever is watching this to know that you're not the only one that has them. Um, it's a normal thing to have intrusive thoughts. So I really appreciate y'all sharing and normalizing that for the audience, because it's a real thing. Like it's normal, but it's important. Do you all have any advice that you would give to others when it comes to taking care of your mind, and so that you can accomplish that success you want in life?
Um, yeah, but before I do that, I did find the percentage just to normalize it again, or like to piggyback off of what you said. So it does say that 80% of our thoughts are negative and 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. So it's very normal for us to have intrusive thoughts,
That's good.
unhelpful thoughts, or negative thoughts.
So to hear those percentages, 80% are negative and 95 are repetitive. So if we're repeatedly having the same thoughts, like we have the ability to know, oh, when this happens, I'm probably going to think this. Or if I'm in the car driving down the road, I'm probably going to have an intrusive thought that somebody's going to hit me. So we can predict so that we can learn how to shift that a little bit if we have support, like having a therapist, y'all. I highly recommend getting a therapist. So,
Mhm.
therapy has definitely helped me normalize that, what I'm experiencing is not abnormal. And so, my advice before you all, I'm go ahead and give my advice, is that the number one advice I highly recommend that you go see a therapist. It's not a bad thing, is not something like someone trying to control your brain. No, they're trying to help you learn how to control and take care of your mind, so you can have a healthy mind. And I highly recommend, if you hadn't already, find one, ask someone like on this, like you can contact me, I can refer you to one, or if I have a few that I may be able to refer you to. But it's normal to go see a therapist. I absolutely recommend. That's a great way to take care of your mind. But you all, who wants to speak out? Brittany, maybe.
Oh, you want to go, Marisha?
We can go first.
So, what advice would you give to others about having a healthy mind, and so they can live a successful life?
Yeah. So yeah, first and foremost, I'm basically about to like bring what everybody said like in. So yes, therapy is great to have. Um, I think it's very important to watch what you're inputting. Portia, you said this earlier. You have to watch, what you're putting in your mind. You want to have a good balance of positive things, healthy things to put in your mind. Marisha, you brought up a perspective that I haven't really thought about as much. You talked about like being able to like remember things, um, and I think that's important. So that made me think about how important it is to know like your limits, to know your boundaries, to know your do's and your don'ts, to know your capacity. So I would say be very cognizant and aware, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling, tired or like burnout, so that you can have clear mind, a mind that's remembering things like Marisha was saying, concentrating, focusing, and all that stuff. So therapy, just know your limits. I'm wrapping it up, saying it over again. Making sure that you're inputting, positive, helpful things into your mind is what I would say.
So I also want to say this before I take it off of Brittany is that Brittany is a fitness instructor, and so she follow her on social media. If you're looking into getting some training sessions in with her and discovering her packages, her information is on the screen. So we talked about healthy mind is like how what you do with your mind and how you condition it. And honestly, y'all, fitness is something I personally would say is one of the greatest things you can do for your mind
Yeah.
because it regulates. It does help with regulation of that. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Brittany, real quick.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, when we work out, when we exercise, we already know that it increases um, endorphins. It releases those chemicals that makes us feel good. And when we feel good, we can have a little bit more clarity, and feel better about ourselves and the things that we're doing and setting out to do. So thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome. All right, Marisha, any advice that you would give to someone to have a healthy mind and so they can live a life of success?
Yeah. So I do echo you and Brittany with fitness and therapy. But I also feel like you have to know yourself and pay attention to yourself. And
Mm.
whenever you notice that you're not feeling yourself, you're not in your same routine, then do something about it then. Don't let it snowball. So let's say if you notice like, I have not felt like talking on the phone lately. Pay attention to those type of things. Also, don't be shy about if you don't feel comfortable with a therapist, don't be shy about finding a safe place to land. What I call like safe spaces where you have a solid confidant where you can go, you can express yourself, get solid advice, be yourself, and really talk about what's going on, be open, vulnerable, and transparent. If you don't feel like a therapist is the way that you want to go, have someone that you can talk to, someone that you can trust. The other thing is being mindful about, and I think you touched on this about what it is that you're, allowing to get into your thoughts, whether it's music, television, but also I say watch the conversations that you're having.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking to someone and they're always talking negative, avoid it. Or if it's an environment that you go in that is always negative, you notice it always changes your mood, avoid it if you can. But just really be present, be mindful about what type of environments you're putting yourself in, and being present about yourself as a person. When you're not feeling your best, when you're not taking care of yourself, when you're kind of feeling like you're in a slump, when the slump lasted longer than it normally would or it should, being mindful of those type of things.
That is so good, Marisha. You said a lot of great things too, especially about paying attention to yourself. Like
Mhm.
that's a huge thing. Like so often, even social media shows us to pay attention to everything else,
Mhm.
everyone else. But paying attention to ourselves, we can learn a lot about ourselves, like what our triggers are, what trigger those negative thoughts, what triggers those bad behaviors, like what triggers you not feeling well, not wanting to talk on the phone, like all the things that you said. So it's important, like paying attention to yourself. That's a huge, like building a relationship with yourself is so important. So if you have not already, follow Marisha. Her website is listed below. She is a great artist. She's written some books, some poetry books, and also short stories that you can check out on her website, and you can follow her on mine. Um, Thank you all so much for engaging in conversation tonight. I am going to close out. And I would just say thank y'all again for tuning in. If you have not learned already, the mind is a terrible thing to waste and to misuse. So take care of your mind. It is the pivotal part of your success. We talked about tonight not just the mind and how it contributes to success, but we've also talked about the mind, body, and spirit and how it also contributes to success. You'll see more of this in the coming 2 weeks, where we're going to talk about body next week. and success. And we're going to also the following week talking about the spirit and success. I really appreciate y'all. Share this live with someone who might need to hear this information. I love y'all. Remember to be free. Don't allow anything or anyone to keep you from living the life that you desire and God purpose to live. Have a wonderful night.